footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. That's Emery Hunter's Art Playbook, and I'm Tyler Merkovich, bringing you off-season team outlooks in the NFL. And it's the New York Jets, who had quite of a run late in the year, and they had a couple of injuries on offense. Leon Washington, who was a free agent, their running back, who could really get it done, but Sean Green really came on at the end of the year, along with Thomas Jones, behind that great offensive line. Defensively, they had a key injury, and they didn't think they would be able to recover. Was to nose tackle Chris Jenkins. He's not getting any younger. I think they really need to address that defensive line in that 3-4, because Sean Ellis isn't getting any younger also. But they have an array of offensive free agents, including Tony Richardson, who's 38 years old, a fullback, Braylon Edwards, who's a restricted free agent, and a couple of receivers, Brad Smith, great special teams guy, and David Clowney. So where do they go?
I think they have to go number one with wide receiver. Again, you look at guys like Golden Tate. You look at Demaryius Thomas from Georgia Tech. You look at guys like Damian Williams from USC. Kind of reminds me a lot of Curtis Conway. But you get you need a wide receiver for Sanchez, because with Edwards on one side, if he can catch the football, he's a good playmaker. He wants to win. He wants to do well. He just has to catch up to his ability to catch up to his desire. So he has to get better in that asset. But they do need a number one receiver, a true target that people have to account for. So I think number one, you go receiver. You don't have to worry about running back, offensive line, or quarterback. Tight end play, you don't have to worry about either. Wide receiver is a key, and defensively, they need a free safety. I don't think Kerry Rose is going to be that. They need some. And you look at who Rex Ryan is used to dealing with. Ed Reed, guys that can make plays, erase mistakes. They need somebody like that in that secondary. So they need a real ball hawking free safety.
So you're really knocking on Cotchery and Keller here as their...
Cotchery is a solid receiver. He'd be good at 3. You look at all the other targets are just really 4s and 5s, 3s and 4s. But Cotchery, I like Cotchery. Cotchery shows up to play week in, week out. He's just not dynamic as a Braylon Edwards can be, or any one of these upcoming rookies in the draft. But Cotchery is a solid target. They have to keep Cotchery. If he's a solid target. You keep players like that. Brad Smith is a satellite play. You move him all over the place. He can help you in any aspect. But they need a bell cow wide receiver, a guy that demands a double team, that rolls coverage this moment. And they also need a defensive end too.
Yeah, well, defensive line, I think they really need to address, because Chris Jenkins is getting any younger, Sean Ellis, Marcus Douglas. The linebackers are there with Bart Scott, David Harris. They're great. Secondary, I think, can be Dwight Lowry. He's okay. Lito Shepard,
right.
But safety, they might lose Kerry Rhodes. And a corner, I think they could use opposite of Revis.
Right.
I mean, if they get another really, really good guy, and they can move like Lowry and Shepard down to the nickel and dime, then I think they could have real success, because no one will be able to pass the ball on them. And as you said, a safety could be key, because Jim Leonard is pretty good. But if they get that one extra guy back there, it will complete their defense, and it will be really a defense to be reckoned with.
Because you look at times they couldn't get to the quarterback. So I think defensive end is really a 5 technique in the 3-4. But that pressure, they have to find a way to apply pressure. They need somebody that can consistently get pressure. That was supposed to be Vernon Golson. We all know how that turned out. So they need somebody to apply pressure off that end, whether it be a defensive end, whether it be an outside linebacker, that rush end in the 3-4. They need a lot of help on defense to get to the quarterback, so that way they won't have to blitz, and they can sit back and play coverage with Revis locking out one side, get a ball hawking free safety. I like Leonard. He's an aggressive player, smart, heady player, so they do need a cornerback outside of Revis, but I do like Lowry.
And that's what the average fan would think. Oh, their front 7 was great, their defense is great, but we don't need to address it. Every year in the NFL, you need to build depth. You don't know what's going to happen with injuries. Players are going to fall off. They're not going to have the same years they will. Maybe they'll improve. So there's a lot of turnover and question marks if you could stay consistent, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep. And you look at the offense, all you really need is that wide receiver. And they're going to let Sanchez throw the ball more this year and work. He's his second year in the offense. This is going to be a great year for that offensive side of the football. Getting Leon Washington back, I think they re-sign him. They will re-sign him. I would.
Thomas Jones, a 1-year option on him too.
Right, you got depth at running back.
Green, yeah,
that's the strength of the team. So I think the offense is one playmaker away on the outside from being dynamic.
I mean, Nick Mangold leads that O-line. He's one of the best centers in the league.
Right.
And I mean, they still got years. I mean, they're aging quickly but surely, but they could stay. I think they could stay intact for a couple years. Who knows if that'll break down, and the running game will be a problem. That's why they need to address the wide receiver, you're saying.
Correct.
For more, visit youtube.com/footballgameplan. Or for more info on team outlooks and draft needs, visit footballgameplan.com.